Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another late night horror movie review. And it is late, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh no, I'm crazy. I've been up watching horror movies, so I thought I'd review one for you for late night horror movie night. And I've got a classic for you, a British horror film, absolutely one of my favourite British horror films. Starring one of my favourite British actors, Sean Harris. So tonight we're looking at Creep. Now this is an amazing film. I'm sure it's directed by Christopher Smith. This is just a DVD edition of it. Again, it's not available in UK on Blu-ray, so we have to make do with a DVD. The film starts off in like the sewers of London, and we join a couple of workmen there they've received complaints of smells, I think, above ground. So it means that one of the drains is sort of like blocked. So we get to see them going towards this drain to have a look at it and to unblock it. And you might recognise these characters. The old boy's been in loads and loads of sort of like British comedies. He was in Steptoe and Son and things like that. And he also starred in the film Deathline. And that's why I liked seeing him in this, because it's almost like a little cameo. And the black guy that's with him has been in Only Fools and Horses. He played Lennox in the episode when they were locked in the shop overnight. Anyway, these two are going about their business, trying to clear it out, and all the stuff sort of falls down on the black dude, and then they hear like a scream, like a strange scream. It's not almost non-human. So they go further down the line to have a little look, see if they can see what it is. And the old boy, he says he's worked down there for like about 40 years, has discovered a new hole. He says it's a new tunnel. So he climbs through this brick wall to have a little look, and it's all sort of flooded out with water. And he sort of goes down this old tunnel, and then he just sees something, and he sort of like gets a fright, and we jump back to the other guy standing in the doorway, because he didn't want to go in there because he says he's afraid of water. He says he can't swim. Anyway, he keeps calling for him to come back, but he doesn't come back. I think his name's Arthur, the old boy. And so he goes down the tunnel to look for him. And then while he's down there, he starts to hear all this sort of female sort of screaming going on. So he follows on, and then he sees the body of Arthur laying in the water. So he approaches him to see what's going on, and all you see in Arthur's face is complete shock and terror. And he's looking like right through the other guy. So the other guy turns around to have a look behind him to see what's going on. And he can't see nothing. But then he sees this other person, who seems to be a woman, being dragged away. And then we jump to like a party, like a house party. And this is where we see the two main sort of characters of the film, apart from obviously the creature, who's another main character. The creature is played by Sean Harris. And they're at this party, and one of the girls is telling the other girl that her friends already left. So she decides to leave the party to try and find her. She tries flagging down a taxi first, with no luck, but she sees that Charing Cross tube station is still open. So obviously this is based in Charing Cross. So she heads out to Charing Cross tube station. She's queuing up for a ticket. And this old woman says, this is right money only. Anyway, she's only got a £20 note. And she ends up paying this homeless woman who's sitting there with a dog £20 for a travel card. Just queue up, you know. But anyway, so she gets this travel card and goes down to the platform. And then we see sort of shots around sort of like the London Underground. So she's sitting there waiting for the last train. It's about 8 minutes to go till the train arrives. So she sits down and starts people watching, and she then sort of falls asleep. And then we sort of cut to her waking up, and then everyone's gone. Everyone's gone, so she's obviously missed the last train. So she then goes up the escalators and makes her way to sort of like the exit of the station, just to sort of find that the actual whole station is being sort of gated and closed off. In real life, this wouldn't happen. They have security people that go round, and they would have found her and moved her out. And they do that throughout the whole night. They do security checks throughout the whole night. But there we go. It's a movie. So anyway, she seems to be stuck in there. So she goes back down to the actual platform because she can hear a train coming. So she thinks, oh, there's still another train. And she arrives on the platform, and the train pulls into the platform. And doors are released, and she jumps on, and you see a shadow in the background of someone else jumping on. So she jumps on the train, and it starts to move. But after about, probably a couple of 100 yards, the train stops. Because obviously something's happened. So she goes and walks through the train, goes through the carriages to the driver's door, knocks on his door, and says, see what's going on, but he doesn't reply. And we cut to the driver's cab, and we see that he's actually been killed. So we see a dead driver. But she doesn't know this, she can't see it. And then all the lights go out on the train. And she then she turns around and she sees this like torch, this light coming towards her, and she doesn't know who it is. And so she starts going towards the light, and she's talking to it, hello, can you help me, sort of thing. And it's not replying, it's getting closer and closer to her. So she starts lying, oh, my boyfriend's in there, I'll just go back and, anyway. So she turns around to go back, and then the light sort of chases after her, and it turns out to be a guy from the party, a guy that fancies her and she had no interest in. So he's there, and he's saying, oh, I know this is all part of your plan, you wanted to get me here, you wanted us to be alone, really delusional guy. Anyway, he starts making moves to her, telling her to take her clothes off, and he starts undoing his flies and she's not interested. And then he sort of attacks her. He's going to try and rape her. So he's got her on the floor, trying to rape her, and you hear the doors open behind him, and then he gets dragged off away from the girl, and his body gets dragged under the tracks. So she's got absolutely no idea what's going on. So she's sort of like a bit terrified, thinking, oh, where's he? I think his name's Guy, actually. She goes looking for him by there, and you can see he sort of pops up again, and he shouts, run. Anyway, so she, and then his body gets dragged back down again. So she does start running, and she runs to the end of the train. She climbs out of the train. It's funny how she knows how well the exits are on the train. And then she runs down the track towards back to the platform. When she arrives back on the platform, she's still terrified, not knowing what to do. She runs, trying again find her way to an exit. And then she can't find her way out. It's all locked up. So she just feels, well, what am I going to do? There must be someone around. She looks lost. And then she hears something around the corner. So she sort of peeks around and she sees a dog. And it's the dog of the homeless woman. The homeless woman and her boyfriend, who's like some Scottish lad, live inside the train station. There's like an air vent hole, and the dog goes into it. So she opens it and goes in, and she finds them both in there, asleep on some smelly old mattress. And they're a couple of old sort of drug addicts. So she's talking to them to try and find a way out. And then she persuades the guy to sort of like help her find the guard. Now, a guard wouldn't be there, okay? A guard works on the train, and the underground don't have guards. It's the overground trains that have guards or conductors. So they've got the wrong word. So it's actually security guy. It should be there, the security person. But anyway, so he walks down the station to try and find the security guy on the monitors. So they wander off on the train station, leaving the homeless girl behind, back in the vent. And she sort of like, we hear screams coming for her, and then the guy goes running back to see what's happened. And that's all I'm going to tell you. All right. So what is going on? What is killing these people in the underground? So we've had so far the two guys that are workers in the drain going missing, the homeless girl. There's the other guys gone missing. There's a driver. And these people start getting killed off and disappearing. So who's doing it? Well, I've told you already who it is. It's my hero, Sean Harris. But I'm not going to spoil you by showing him, because he's immense in the film. And he's like a really cool and really scary and spooky. And I don't want to spoil that for you. I want you to watch it and find out. So what do I think of Creep? It's one of the best British horror films that's ever been made. There's no doubt about it. It's fantastic. We need a Blu-ray release of this. Arrow, 88 Films, please pick it up. 101 Films. This is the sort of film 101 Films would pick up. We need a Blu-ray release of Creep. It's incredible. It's an amazing film. It's so intense. There's a lot of gore. There's a lot of sort of killings in it. Sean Harris's performance in it is phenomenal. Absolutely amazing. And unforgettable. It's a great environment, the underground, and there's bits in there like when you see the girl running, it's very sort of like homage to like American Werewolf in London and that sort of thing. It's such a really cool environment to make a horror film, because it's underground. It's like 400 miles worth of track down there, and tunnels that have been undiscovered for years, with people. You know, if you've seen my other video, Deathline, check that out, because that's also based down there on the underground. It's just brilliant. The pluses of the film, it still looks really nice on DVD. It's got some really nice grain, but it hasn't got like that cinema grain that I love. But it's still got some really nice grain in there. It still looks really cool today. It's still intense. The acting it's okay, you know, but a lot of these people in here are TV actors, apart from sort of Sean Harris, who's like, you know, he's been in loads of films. Prometheus and Possum, loads of films. But his performance is stellar. He's a fantastic villain as always. It's really creepy, and it's really eerie. It's very atmospheric. It's just brilliant. I absolutely love Creep. It's such a cool movie. It's one of the most underrated horror films, in my opinion. I'm going to score the movie an amazing watch and give it a 9 out of 10. It's absolutely fantastic. It's really a sort of 7 out of 10 film, but Sean Harris steals the show so much. It's a 9 out of 10. But it's brilliant. If you've never seen Creep, you need to watch it. It's terrifying, absolutely terrifying. I mean, I've got a special place in my heart anyway, because as you know, I work on the railway, so anything to do with sort of railway horrors is fantastic. And you'd be surprised how many railway horrors there are. So you'd be surprised how many there are. You know, it goes right back to sort of like horror films on trains. But fantastic, amazing film. Creep, 9 out of 10. Any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below what you thought of it. I think it's absolutely amazing. It's just one of the best British horror films. It's just brilliant. I can watch it numbers and times, and I have watched it a number of times, and it's really cool. And I've recently given a copy to my lad Lemon Lord, and I'm hoping he's enjoying it. I believe he's watching it tonight, the same night I'm watching it, and I hope he's really enjoyed it. It's absolutely a great film. Guys, till next time, check out some horror channels for me. Horror Hands, The Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, Pizzawell, Grumpy Andrew's Haunted House, Cat Watches Horror, Sarah of Horror, all amazing channels. Pizzawell. Please check them all out, guys, until my next video. Until then, look after yourselves, don't have nightmares, and I really hope I see you all soon.